Hello, everyone. Good day. Welcome again. It's been a long time. Napakahaba ng aking hiatus. I have been very busy on lectures and my master's class, but I am back. Okay? And don't worry, napakinggan ko lahat ng mga suggestions niyo sa comments ng mga videos ko. And yun yung mga ipipila ko na iti-discuss because I know how important those suggestions are for all of you. So right now, I will be providing to you an overview of the major pests and diseases of major crops or key crops in the Philippines. So when we say key crops, we're pertaining to, for example, crops na ginagamit natin as staple food or food security, such as rice and corn. Okay? We will be also be talking about some crops that have strong export potential for the local economy. So itong mga crops na to ay naipapadala sa ibang bansa, and according to economics, if we have more exports, then that is good for us. It is good for our gross domestic product. But I will not be covering all in this video, in this lecture, because it might be too long and baka hindi kayanin ng aking free Zoom account. But I will be covering some major crops and staple crops, as well as their major pests and diseases na I think it is important for you to know and understand, because this might go out sa exam, kasi nga ito yung mga common na pests and diseases ng mga halaman na ito. Okay? So let's start off. Of course, simulan natin sa ating pinaka-importante na crop, rice. Rice or Oryza sativa, let's start off with their major pests. Okay. Unang-una, we have the stem borers. Yung stem borers na yan, pinaka-critical siya at its larvae stage, wherein the larva will bore, susuot siya doon sa stem ng ating rice, then it will feed internally, and kapag kinain niya yung stem ng rice na yan internally, then the pest will cut off nutrient transport within the plant. Ano yung symptom na may stem borer yung iyong halaman? Meron tayong tinatawag na dead heart. Okay? Dead heart occurs on the vegetative stage of the rice, kung saan yung central shoots nila, they dry up and turn brown. So if you can see here, the central shoots here at this vegetative stage are drying up, and then they are turning brown, primarily of our stem, because of our stem borer. Meron din naman tayong symptoms called whitehead. Now, whitehead occurs during reproductive stage naman, during the production of panicle ng ating rice. Okay? The panicles, instead of turning golden, it will turn white, and then wala siyang laman, basically. Why? Because the stem borer has already disrupted yung nutrient flow sa loob ng ating stem. So that is stem borer, one of the major pests of rice. How about rice leaf folder? Okay? Rice leaf folder naman, larvae stage din yung pinaka-importante nito. The thing about rice leaf folder is, as the name suggests, fino-fold niya yung dahon. Okay? So fino-fold ng rice leaf folder yung dahon, and then within this area, na yan, sa loob ng inner tissue ng dahon na yan, dyan kumakain yung ating rice leaf folder. Now, dahil fino-fold ng rice leaf folder yung dahon, syempre ang effect niyan sa halaman, lalong-lalo na sa dahon, is that it reduces photosynthetic capacity. So mas mahina ang photosynthetic activity, hindi na masyadong nakakapag-produce ng pagkain yung ating rice, therefore it leads to stunted growth and lower yields. Now, this particular pest They thrive very well kapag mataas ang humidity, mataas ang moisture sa hangin, and kapag they thrive very well when the humidity is high and when the rice crops are dense, kapag masyadong siksikan yung mga rice. Kasi nga naman, kapag siksikan yung mga pananim mong rice, mas nagiging dense talaga yung environment nila kasi hindi nakaka-escape agad-agad yung moisture na nasa hangin nila. Okay. So that is rice leaf folder. The last one, we call it as our brown plant hopper or our Nilaparvata lugens. Okay. Now, here are some scientific names for you to remember if you want to take note of that. Now, what are rice leaf folder? Very important then. Sorry. What are brown plant hopper? I mean, they are very important na major pest ng rice because they do suck. Okay? Sinisip-sip nila yung sap sa base ng rice plant natin. So the base of the stem of our rice plant, they feed on that. So sucking ang ginagawa nila, kuha nila yung juice. Okay? Now if they suck those nutrients up, then our rice weakens. Now ito ang itsura ng ating brown plant hopper. So ito ang itsura ng ating brown plant hopper, by the way. And sa farm, ganito ang itsura niya. Right? So this time around, if we can see, nagkakaroon tayo ng tinatawag na hopper burn. Okay? Hopper burn. So yung hopper na yan, lagyan mo lang ng burn sa dulo, yan yung symptoms niya. Nagkakaroon ng brown discoloration and wilting because of nutrient loss, nutrient and water loss. Kasi nga, kinakain yan ng brown plant hopper. Now, when there is a heavy infestation, this is very dangerous as it can lead to significant crop loss and most of the time, papatayin niya talaga yung rice natin. So those are the major pests of rice. Let's now look at some of the major diseases naman ng rice. First off, we have bacterial leaf blight or what we call as Xanthomonas oryzae. What are the symptoms of bacterial leaf blight? Unang-una, it begins with water-soaked streaks on leaf edges, then nagkakaroon ng yellowing, then eventually the yellowing now will lead to the wilting of the leaves of our plant. Okay. Now, bacterial leaf blight is caused by your bacteria, as the name suggests, caused by Xanthomonas bacteria. Now, this bacteria can live and can thrive kapag mataas ang nitrogen level, kapag mainit and kapag humid ang condition. Now, yung impact nito is that it can also lead to significant yield loss. Na bakit? Kasi kapag nag-wilt na yung dahon, it negatively affects yung photosynthetic activity ng ating rice. Therefore, the rice now cannot produce food on its own, then it will die. We also have rice blast. Okay? Rice blast, ang pinaka-common na symptom niyan is that nagkakaroon tayo ng diamond-shaped lesions on the leaves. Now, if you can see here, may pagka-diamond yung lesions doon sa ating dahon. At the same time, it affects the neck of the panicle of your rice and it causes poor grain filling and reduced harvest. So it negatively affects the panicle of the rice kung saan hindi nagkakaroon ng laman yung panicle na yon, which of course reduces yield of the farmers. Now, this rice blast, they thrive very well kapag wet yung condition and very dense yung plant population ng ating rice. Dense meaning siksikan sila, maramihan sila per area. What is the impact? Among the most destructive rice diseases ang rice blast globally, leading to a yield loss of up to 50%. So that is rice blast. The next one, we have sheet blight or our Rhizoctonia solani. Anong symptoms naman ng ating sheet blight? Now, there are irregular greenish-gray lesions on the sheath. Now, by the way, ano yung sheath? Yan yung portion ng dahon na nakakabit sa stalk ng ating rice. Okay? Now, we call that a sheath. Yun yung inaapektuhan ng sheath blight. So, if you can see, there are greenish-gray lesions on these sheaths. And this disease, they spread up rapidly kapag mataas ang humidity and very poor ang air circulation. Now, in terms of managing it, gusto natin ma-manage yung humidity. Paano ma-manage yung humidity? Make sure na adequate yung plant space ng ating rice. Kailangan din i-balance yung fertilizer application. And of course, kung may resistant variety na pwedeng gamitin, then gumamit tayo ng resistant varieties. So those are the important major diseases naman ng ating rice. Let's now move on to another important crop, which is our corn. Now, we'll be discussing for corn, ano yung major pest ng ating corn. Unang-una dyan, yung ating corn earworm, or we also call it as Helicoverpa zea. Now, our corn earworm, very important at its larvae stage, kumakain sila ng kernels, yung mismong mais, yun ang kinakain nila. Therefore, nare-reduce yung quality, and of course, hindi yan nabibenta. It's not economically viable. Direct ang damage niya doon sa marketable portion ng ating corn. Ito, di ba? Ito naman yung binibenta sa corn. Kaya naman, napaka-importante niya na i-control kapag nakita sa halamanan. We also have our fall armyworm, or we also call this our Spodoptera frugiperda. Okay? Now, our fall armyworm, they feed on the leaves, okay, dahon ng corn natin, and at the same time, yung reproductive part, yung cob ng ating corn. Kaya medyo extensive din po ang damage ng ating fall armyworm. They are highly invasive. Mabilis ang kanilang pagdami. So therefore, ang fall armyworm is a major pest ng corn dito sa Pilipinas. Now, in terms of managing it, kailangan ma-detect siya as early as possible. So that's crucial. Yung ibang mga farmers, gumagamit din sila ng pheromone traps to monitor. And of course, kapag may biological control ka, pwede mo rin yung i-apply para hindi masyadong nai-sprayan ng pesticide yung ating corn. Ito, madalas sigurong naririnig itong peste na to, yung ating Asian corn borer. Now, the Asian corn borer, also known as Ostrinia furnicalis, larvae stage din yan, very important, and it tunnels through both the stem and the cob of the corn. Now, if your corn borer tunnels through these corn parts, then pinapahina niya ngayon yung halaman. Anong effect niyan? So dahil borer ito, dahil nagtatunnel siya, nababawasan ngayon yung tinatawag na nutrient transfer doon sa loob ng iyong corn plant. Okay? Kasi sumisiksik sila, for example, sa stem. And dahil sumisiksik sila, nadi-disrupt ngayon yung flow ng nutrients and naapektuhan yung pag-grow ng corn natin. What are the main control strategies used? Itong Asian corn borer, ginagamitan yan ng biological control such as trichogramma and the use of trichogramma or the use of parasitoids. Dahil major na disease din ang Asian corn borer, may mga pailan-ilan na rin na resistant corn hybrids for this specific pest. So that is the major pest of your corn. Another key crop that we will be discussing is on coconut. So ano ba yung mga major pests naman sa coconut? Unang-una dyan yung tinatawag nating coconut scale insect. Yung infestation niya, ano yung kanyang symptom? It causes yellow leaves, it causes wilting, and potentially death of the coconut tree. Ang impact ng isang coconut scale insect is large scale. Kapag na-infestan yung coconut plantation, maaaring kumalat yan and it can cause severe economic losses. Now, your coconut scale insect also can be controlled using biological control methods such as parasitoid wasp or minsan nag-a-apply sila ng oil or organic ng oil, so it's an organic form of controlling it to deter, okay, or prevent this coconut scale insect from infesting your coconut. Another one na naririnig-rinig nyo for sure is yung tinatawag nating rhinoceros beetle. Ang rhinoceros beetle naman, they feed on emerging fronds. Okay? Fronds is yung dahon pala ng coconut. That's what we call it. Okay? So kapag nakita ka ng butas-butas doon sa dahon, so doon sa base part ng iyong, doon sa base part ng coconut leaves, then it is most likely na rhinoceros beetle po ang may sala niyan. How do you control rhinoceros beetle? Kailangan mo sirain yung mga breeding sites niya. So kapag may nabubulok na kahoy doon, na napapansin mo may mga beetles, rhinoceros beetles doon, then kailangan mong sirain and linisin yon. Yung iba, gumagamit din sila ng pheromone traps, lalong-lalo na sa pagtatrap ng mga adults, okay? Para hindi na mag-reproduce yung beetle na yan. We also have red palm weevil. Okay? Red palm weevil naman, yung larva nito, basically, they bore into the trunk of your coconut tree. So, nagkakaroon ngayon ng internal damage and it weakens the whole tree. So, pwede ito ikamatay ng buong puno ng coconut. Ano yung symptom na yan kapag nakakita ka ng mga boreholes or kapag nakakita ka ng pinagkainan nila? Yan. So it might be possible that there are red palm weevils in your coconut farm. In terms of management, early detection is very important. So katulad rin ng rhinoceros beetle, kailangan alisin and linisin yung mga infested na trees or areas. Some farmers, they also use pheromone-based trapping or biological control para i-control yung peste na ito. How about for banana? What are the major pests for banana? Major diseases naman for banana. We have number 1, Panama disease. Okay? So ang Panama disease, nagkukos yan ng wilting of leaves. Papansin natin yung kanyang dahon nagwi-wilt. And more than likely, they start off from the older leaves. Also, kapag biniyak mo yung kanyang stem, yung vascular tissue, makakakita ka ng brown or dark streaks. So that is already a sign na mayroong internal infection brought about by Fusarium oxysporum that cause Panama disease. Of course, we also have banana bunchy top virus, which is caused by a virus. Okay? Ang pinaka-symptom niyan is that nagkakaroon ng bunchy appearance. Maraming dahon. So maraming dahon, para na siyang nagiging floral arrangement. Diba? The leaves are also narrower. Kakaroon ng yellow margins yung dahon and overall, plant becomes stunted. Maliit yung plant kasi napupunta sa pagpuproduce ng dahon, so therefore nagiging unproductive sila. The banana bunchy top virus is mainly transmitted through aphids. Okay? So yun yung pinaka-vector nila. And ang impact niyan is nagkakaroon ng maliit na banana, unable to produce marketable fruit, therefore it affects now the yield of your farmers. Now, kapag mataas yung infection ng banana bunchy top virus, then it might need na sirain yung mga banana na yan and completely magtanim ng bago. How do you manage banana bunchy top virus? You can control yung kanyang vector, which is the aphid. You can use virus-free planting material. Very important. Huwag kayong kukuha ng banana material na may virus na to. Okay? And sometimes you can do quarantine and droguing as well kung saan sinisira mo. Inaalis mo yung mga infected na banana plants sa iyong farm. Lastly, we have MOCO disease. MOCO disease is caused again by a bacteria, Ralstonia solanacearum specifically. It is causing wilting of leaves. So nagkakaroon ng yellowing from the edges yan, dun nagsisimula, and then later on it will progress to the entire leaves. Kapag hinati mo yung stem ng iyong banana plant, nagkakaroon ka rin ng bacterial ooze. Okay? So that is a symptom na meron ng MOCO disease yung iyong saging. Now, MOCO disease is caused by a bacteria, and this is mainly transmitted through soil, water, tools, and even insects. So mahalaga rin na kapag ikaw ay nagtatanim sa iyong sagingan, malinis ang tools mo. Kasi may hindi mo alam, yung tools na yan maaaring infected by Ralstonia solanacearum that might cause MOCO disease in your banana. Your MOCO disease can also lead to significant yield losses. It can destroy the entire plantations kapag hindi na control. So how do you manage MOCO disease? Una-una, sanitation. Kailangan malinis ka sa iyong taniman. Make sure that you are disinfecting your tools and avoid the movement of contaminated soil or water. Kapag nakakita ka na ng mga halaman na may MOCO disease, pwedeng-pwede, alisin mo na yan. Okay? Kasi infected na yan, alisin mo na, sirain mo na, sunugin mo na. And if there is a resistant variety of against MOCO disease, then you would benefit well by planting that variety. Now let's talk about sugarcane. Let's talk about the major pests and diseases of sugarcane. So the two each. Okay. So sa peste, we have our sugarcane borers. So very important at its larvae stage kasi it bores on the stem of the sugarcane. Now, kapag pinasok ng uod yan, then it now reduces yung sucrose quality ng iyong sugarcane, hindi na siya matamis, and at the same time, negatively affected din yung kanyang yield and quality. Ano yung symptom? Yung sugarcane mo, makikitaan mo ng tunneling and very fragile yung stem ng sugarcane, that it is weak and it can be easily broken. At entry points ng sugarcane mo, so yung mga butas kung saan pwedeng pasukan ng borers, makakita ka rin ng sawdust-like residue. So particularly parang makikita mo na ay, dito pumasok yung uod and doon siya nagbutas sa area na yon. How can you control your sugarcane? Biological control. Sometimes, some farmers, they release parasitoids katulad ng trichogramma to control yung borer larvae. And of course, kapag may nakita ka na rin infested sugarcane sa iyong pananim, pwede mo na rin yung sirain. So that's part of your cultural practice. Another important pest are your white grubs. Okay? Your white grubs, ito yung larvae stage ng iyong beetle. Okay? Now, these grubs, they feed on the roots of the sugarcane. Kapag inatake niya yung root system, hindi na makakapag-absorb ng tubig and minerals na maayos yung iyong sugar cane. How do you know? What are the symptoms na may white grub sa iyong pananim? Yung plant mo, mahina, kakaroon ng yellowing of leaves, and eventually it might wilt. Yung damaged root system also can lead to poor establishment and susceptibility to lodging. Okay? Kung saan hindi na nakakatayo ngayon yung iyong sugarcane plant. How do you manage it? Soil tilling. Importante, ano? You plow the soil para ma-expose yung mga grubs na to and kainin sila basically ng mga kanilang predator katulad ng birds. Okay? Kapag nakita yan ng bird, pagkain. Pero of course, kailangan you plow the soil para mailabas yung mga iyan. In terms of biological control, you can also apply some entomopathogenic fungi, katulad ng Metarhizium. So yung Metarhizium na yan, nakakamatay siya sa grub population. In terms of diseases, sugarcane can have smut. Okay? Smut looks like this. So nagkakaroon ng parang whip-like, black whip-like structure dun sa growing points ng iyong sugarcane. And ang isang infected ng SMAT, it becomes stunted, yung kanyang paglaki. Okay? And nagkakaroon ng poor growth. Now, ano ba ang SMAT? It is caused by a fungi. And this one spreads airborne. And it can infect new sugarcane plants, especially doon sa mga areas na hindi masyadong nalilinis. Okay? How do you manage SMAT? Well, very important, gumamit tayo ng clean planting materials. Free of SMAT. Okay? Huwag lang tayong kumuha ng kung ano-anong planting material dyan kasi hindi natin alam, baka may SMAT yon, then inapektuhan nyo yung buong pananim mo, inapektuhan nyo yung buong taniman mo, and yung buong kalupaan mo. Now, if there are infected plants, you can also remove that. And of course, you can use resistant varieties as well. We also have ratoon standing disease ng ating sugarcane. Okay? Now, this one, ang pinaka-symptom niyan is that lumiliit. Kaya nga, stunting. Okay? Lumiliit yung stem part ng ating sugarcane. The ratoon stunting disease is caused by a bacteria, by the way, and these are mainly distributed through contaminated cutting tools and infected seed. So yung seed ng sugarcane natin ay pwedeng maipasa. Yung disease na yan through the seed of our sugarcane. Okay. How do you manage it? Very important, sanitation. Dapat malinis yung taniman mo. Gumamit ka ng malinis na seed cane or seed planting materials. Or you can, kung wala ka talagang, kung yun lang talaga yung seed na pwede mong magamit, then you can treat the seed with hot water para mamatay yung bacteria before you plant it. And last important crop, we have coffee. Ano yung major pest ng coffee? We have the coffee berry borer. Oops. Saan ba yung picture ng coffee berry borer natin? So, very important na peste ng coffee. We have coffee berry borer. Coffee berry borer looks like this. And as the name suggests, yung coffee berry borer mo, may pagka-tongue twister siya. They bore into the coffee berries. Okay? So, itong larvae stage niyan, pumupunta doon sa berry ng kape, nagkikreate siya ng tunnel doon. Yan, it affects now your coffee. Okay? Ano yung economic impact niyan? Well, ito yung binibenta mo sa kape. So, kapag yan po ay na-damage, more than likely, wala ka nang maibebenta. How do you control it? Proper field hygiene. Sometimes timely harvesting din. Huwag mong hayaan na masyadong ma-overripe yung iyong coffee berries. And sometimes they use biological control as well. Another important pest ng coffee is what we call as the coffee leaf miner. So at its larvae stage, nagkikreate siya ng tunnel doon sa dahon ng kape. So, maliit lang yan. Okay? And of course, kapag ganyan yung itsura ng dahon ng ating kape, it now affects yung photosynthetic, yung ability of your coffee to do photosynthesis. Kapag masyadong mataas ang temperature and wala masyadong shade, nagtatribe yung coffee leaf miner na yan. Now, how do you control it? You can use cultural control, kung saan dapat may shade na maayos yung iyong kape. Kasi nga, ang coffee leaf miner, gusto niya walang shade. So, kapag may shade yung kape mo, more than likely, may iwasan siya. Or you can also use some natural predators like wasp, okay, or yan, biological control to keep the populations of these pests in check. Kapag important diseases naman ang pinag-uusapan, nandyan yung tinatawag nating coffee rust. Ang pinaka-distinct na feature niya is yung pagkakaroon ng bright orange powdery lesion, so parang kalawang doon sa ilalim ng iyong dahon. Okay? And because it affects the plant, either the leaves of the coffee, then it also affects photosynthetic activity. Kapag warm ang temperature, mataas ang humidity at very poor ang air circulation, nagkakaroon ng rust development. And ang impact nito, kapag kumalat, it can cause up to 70% loss. So wag na po nating hayaang kumalat yung ating coffee rust. How do you manage it? Pwede kang gumamit ng rust-resistant coffee varieties. In terms of cultural practice, bawasan natin yung humidity by following proper spacing. And at the same time, you can also use chemical control by using fungicides to control coffee rust. The last one, we have coffee wilt disease, okay, or our Fusarium psilocyroides. Okay. Ang initial na symptom niyan is nagkakaroon ng yellowing and then later on browning and then later on pagkamatay ng ating kape. Ang Fusarium is a soil-borne fungi. It mostly infects vascular tissues, and kapag inapektuhan yung vascular tissues, it could also prevent the flow of water and nutrients in your plants. Now, your coffee wilt disease can kill the entire coffee trees, okay, leading to a significant yield loss. How do you control it? Early detection. Kapag na-detect mo na mayroon ng coffee wilt disease yung kapihan mo, then alisin mo na siya, i-remove mo na yung mga infected plants, or you can also use varieties that are resistant to this particular disease. So I hope you've learned something from this presentation na magagamit nyo sa inyong exam. Thank you so much for tuning in. And let me know if you have any more suggestions kung ano pa yung pwedeng lectures na aking pwedeng i-discuss. Thank you.